Hi, I'm Brian Lucas, and welcome to Food 101. People. Let's talk about food. And today I have my special guest. They are the founders behind the Digital Dojo, no other than Miss Colleen and Mr. Dana.
Hello.
How are you doing, Daniel?
I'm fabulous, fabulous. And thank you so much for being part on Food 101 once again. Thank you for being there for me.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you for
yeah.
having us and being there for us.
You're just such a great part of our week.
Yes, indeed. And after this, what will be the next podcast that you will be my guest?
Whatever you like.
Whatever you like us on.
We're just happy to talk to you.
It's always
Definitely.
getting it fun. So anywhere you ask us to show up, we will show up.
Yes, so before we go on to our favorite or your favorite food, let's talk about your digital dojo. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we started the Digital Dojo individually a while ago, and we've expanded into online offerings. And it's really quite exciting for us because we get to help people with trauma. We get to help people reset old patterns, and everything that we do, people can do from home. So it's one of those wonderful places that I wish I had when I started to work on my own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so we wanted to create something for everybody else, no matter how big or small they thought their problems are, they've got someplace they can go and work on them.
Awesome. Mr. Dana, what is your other version of Digital Dojo?
Well, the Digital Dojo is the result of our deep passion for personal development and seeing people be better and better, being the best version of themselves, and a combined love and passion for martial arts that was so deep and so strong in my life. And I shared it with Colleen after we met, that we wanted everyone to feel the benefit of training in the martial arts and of being in the dojo without having to actually step into the dojo and get onto the mat. So all of the lessons and wonderful wisdom and sharing and opportunities to better ourselves that we experience at the dojo in the physical sense on a daily basis, we wanted to share with the world and as many people as possible using this wonderful technology called the online platform. And we wanted to create a resource where people could 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anytime they felt inspired, reach to a place where they could find information and resource to help them be the most excellent version of themselves possible.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing the Digital Dojo to the world. Hoping for more and more empowering innovation to come. So today, let's talk about your favorite food that, well, for sure you do it every day.
Yeah, so which one of us should go first?
Yes, Miss Colleen, let's do first your favorite.
I think I'm going to have to stick with herbs in general, and then I can talk about pesto in particular as one of the best parts of it. But when you have fresh herbs, you can do anything in the world. If you want to have, I mean, a lot of times when people describe their favorite restaurant, they'll say, "Oh, it tasted so fresh."
Yeah.
And what you've got with herbs, I will have a bit of a nerd moment here, Daniel, if you don't mind, is you basically have a medicine cabinet in your pocket, but you're trusting your tongue to lead you to the right medicine. Because inevitably people will love the smell and taste of the herbs that do the most for them. So people who love rosemary, for instance, rosemary has been shown to help boost memory.
Yes.
And kids who they put rosemary oil in the room when they're studying, or when they're taking a test, they score 5 to 7% higher on their tests. And right. And pesto, which is just one of my, pesto should be on everything in the world, is basil or basil, depending on where you come from. And the beauty of that is it stimulates the entire endocannabinoid system. So again, thank you for my nerd moment, which means that not only is it anti-inflammatory, not only is it antioxidant, not only does it taste delicious, but it also actually helps cut down on pain signals.
Interesting, Miss Colleen, for sharing those info. And I hope what people are watching or listening right now will use fresh herbs for sure.
Absolutely.
And beyond the obvious evidence of impotency, how does using a fresh herb fundamentally change a dish compared to a dried counterpart?
Oh, see, spoken like a
That's, yeah,
culinary expert.
that is a great question. For my foodie brain, I will say you have more of those essential oils. So you're going to be getting more of the flavor, but also the essential oils are going to be stimulating the whole olfactory system. So your brain's going to get stimulated in an entirely different way. And those oils actually do different things than the dried counterparts. So from a taste point of view, there's just nothing like fresh herbs. It wakes things up in a way that nothing else does. And there's a reason why when you look at something like pesto, which is Italian, but then you take a similar thing, basically blend the heck out of herbs, go to Argentina, they make a chimichurri. So again, just a whole bunch of fresh herbs with some oil, throw in some vinegar, and people go nuts after it because it wakes everything up. And if it's the middle of winter, if you can't afford to pay $75 for a package of whatever at the grocery store,
Yes,
for sure, then use the dried herbs, use what you have, and it's amazing technology. But in the summer, and if you can grow something even in your windowsill,
Go
all the
for
difference
it.
in the world. Yeah.
Yes, it's priceless.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Dana, let's talk about your favorite food. What is it? Your favorite food?
My favorite food is a dish that I grew up eating very regularly and still look forward to this day, called brown stewed chicken. And it's a very simple recipe. Colleen actually would know more about the preparing side. I'm more of an expert on the consuming side.
Yes, go ahead.
But it was a manner in which people, in the Caribbean, where oftentimes, there wasn't a abundant supply of food. You had to use what you could have available. You had to make it last a long time. You had to make it taste good and be nourishing. And the method of brown stewing was like a slow cook process for chicken that basically could make any part of the chicken taste good. So, and it was typically served over rice and beans, which is a staple of nourishment in many, many cultures. But the simplicity of the dish came from the necessity to make basically anything that you had from the chicken taste good and be edible, and to last a long time, because in the heat, food spoils very quickly. And it has a deep brown sugar and molasses flavor, which I can taste right now on my tongue as I talk about it. And it was
Me too.
it was a very simple, easy to prepare meal that could feed an entire family, because you would have your chicken as the main protein, your rice and beans to round out the meal, and then you would throw in maybe some okra and some carrots. Basically, whatever vegetables you had would take on the flavor of the stewing juices in the chicken, because it simmers over in a pot for many, many hours. And it's such a wonderful sense memory for me to reach back to, because even though it was actually a very cheap meal to make, I always felt like I was eating like a king when I was a kid, because it was so delicious and so
Yes.
flavorful, and it smelled so fantastic as it would be prepared by my mom or one of my aunties. It just not only nourishes my palate when I eat it to this day. Colleen has learned to make it really, really well. I help. I chop things. I follow directions of the master chef. I'm the sous chef, but it nourishes me on every level when I eat it, because it makes me feel satisfied,
At
nourished.
Home.
Yes, and then connected to my roots and my family, and very, very well taken care of. That's why it's at the top of
Definitely.
my list.
Yes,
And
definitely.
I have something to add to that
Sure.
as well, which is part of the I mean, it's a terrible name, right? Brown stew. It just does
Yes,
not sound
brown
appealing.
stew.
Um, but the sauce is this deep, 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 rich brown from browning sauce. And if you want to make browning sauce, you cook sugar and water until it burns, and
Yes.
then you use just a teaspoon or two of that. So I think it was a way where somebody burned some sugar one day and they thought, okay, I'm not going to throw this away. What can I do? How can I find a way to reuse this? And it turned into this amazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing indeed. So, Miss Colleen, do you marinate the chicken before you cook it?
You don't have to with the brown stew chicken. That's part of the beauty of it.
Awesome. So, what are the main spices that you put or main ingredients?
Yeah, as long as you've got a ton of thyme, so fresh thyme again if you've got it, and if not, you can put powdered or dried in there. And the browning sauce is the main thing. You can actually buy browning sauce in the store now if you want to. You might have to go to a
Nice.
larger store, but they've got it at the large stores here anyway. And or you can just burn up some sugar at home. And that's how I was so authentic. I was so proud of myself when I first made it. And I made the browning sauce. I cooked the sugar, took me an hour. And then I talked to Dana's mom because I was so excited. And I
Yes.
said, how long does it take you to make browning sauce? And she pulls a bottle out of the fridge and goes, I don't know. I go to Superstore.
She spent so much time making it from scratch as a kid. I think she enjoys the luxury of just pouring it out of a bottle now.
Yeah.
Yes. At least you enjoyed the first time.
Mhm.
They said the first time you do the any kind of recipe, for sure you will mess up. But for the second time, third time, for sure, better than the first time.
Yes.
And
Yes.
what is the best combination for this
Oh,
as
for
a
the brown
side?
stew chicken?
Yes.
I mean, rice and beans.
Mhm.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
When you're coming back to rice and beans, it's that classic protein. That's why people all over the world go back to it, because you can actually get a complete protein when you combine rice and beans, which is mind blowing to me.
Mhm.
When you've got people who maybe don't have as much money for meat, and they can still actually do well and have all the amino acids, and it's just satisfying in a way that nothing else is.
Definitely. Mr. Dana, what's the
Yes.
most common mistake people make when attempting brunch to chicken at home for
That
the
one,
first time?
yes, that one is if you're making the brown sauce from scratch, you actually can burn the brown sugar, and you can tell me if I'm correct, but you can burn the brown sugar where it's not redeemable anymore. I've actually done that in my attempts to help out and make a brown stew chicken, where because there's a very sweet spot where when it gets
But I'm bummed.
when it gets burnt, where it gets really caramely and
Yeah.
smells really wonderful, and then just a shade beyond that, it's burnt black, and you have to scrape it out of the pot. So that's one of the most common mistakes that people make, is that they over burn they cook the sugar and to the point where it's burnt and not usable or salvageable anymore. It's just a hard plaque burnt crust on the bottom of your pot.
Yeah.
Which I know from direct experience.
Interesting. So, Mr. Dana, I learned that this dish is a Sunday dinner staple across many islands in Caribbean.
Yes.
What role does a meal like brown stew chicken play in bringing families and communities together?
Oh, that's wonderful, Dale, and such a lovely question that touches my heart, because that's so much of what that particular dish is associated with.
Yeah.
Usually, a brown stew chicken, because it takes a fairly long time if you're doing it from scratch, like it takes 6 or 7 hours, basically, right? By the time you've simmered it and boiled down the brown sugar to get the sauce, which is the base for the dish. But it also goes a very long way. You can make a really big pot of brown stew chicken and feed a lot of people, because you actually don't need that much chicken for it to be satisfying. So it brings us back to the idea of, community through sharing, right? So if somebody has a little bit of something, we try to make a dish that stretches it as far as it can go. And that's why when it gets combined with the rice and peas, rice and beans, to add another complete protein, and the flavor of the sauce, which absorbs the flavor of the chicken, you don't actually have to have a whole lot of chicken to feed a whole bunch of people in a satisfying way. And it's a staple because of that you can serve it to a lot of people, family and friends. People can come back for seconds or thirds, and you don't feel like you're going to run out of something that tastes good and is very nourishing for everyone.
It's like stone soup. Do you know that story, Daniel? Stone soup?
Yes.
Yeah, it has that feel to it, which is you can throw in a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yes. So, Miss Colleen and Mr. Dana, if you compare brown stewed chicken and the fresh herbs to digital dojo, where you can compare? Where you can compare?
That's awesome, Daniel. Love that question.
That's a great question. I'm going to say it's all about bringing authenticity to life.
True.
Because when you think of fresh herbs, and I love to cook. I absolutely love to cook. So if I'm making a Vietnamese bun, you're going to have a ton of fresh basil. Again, you're going to have a ton of fresh mint. There are certain, lemongrass. There are certain flavors you just have to include. If you're doing a chimichurri, you're going to have to add other certain flavors to make it more South American. And it brings that vibrancy. It brings what's important to the forefront. And I think that's a lot of what we really want to do with people when they come to any of our classes, anything that we're holding for the public, is we want to bring people back to life again, because we can get so worn down by doing the same old. And what we all need is just a little something to wake our brain up and wake our soul up again.
Mr. Dana?
Good answer.
Thank you.
Good answer, yes.
Yeah, really awesome answer. I think of it from the standpoint of myself as a child. Whenever I smelled brown stew chicken in the big crock pot that was on the big heavy pot that was on the stove to make it, or I saw that pot coming out, I think about how great I used to feel, because it always felt special, and it always felt that it was special because it took so much time to prepare, right? It was a commitment. People had to really put their energy and attention into preparing it properly, because even though it's a fairly simple dish, you have to watch the sugar, and if you're not paying attention, it burns and it's not usable. And then you could chop up fresh vegetables and herbs almost to flavor, and with whatever you had available, you could make the dish taste really, really delicious. And if you ate a lot or a little, you felt like you ate a complete meal and you felt very nourished. So I think of the Digital Dojo in that sense, that I hope people realize and feel touched by and special because of the love and care and the time and the focus that we put into, and anybody that we bring on as a guest into the Digital Dojo world. These are people that do what they care about. They're people that do what they deeply love, and we certainly appreciate those people, and we try to put our best effort into everything that we offer. And whether you take a lot of it, a whole course, or you take a little snippet in a short video to get some information to help you feel nourished in life, that's what we always want people to walk away with, that the taste, the experience was something that, whether they had a little or a lot, was very nourishing for them. So that's why I think that those two worlds kind of come together, because I want people to think of the Digital Dojo and feel loved in the same way that I've smelled the herbs and the vegetables and the chicken and the brown stew sauce for that dish that made me feel like, oh, this is special. And somebody really cares about feeding me today.
Definitely. Truly empowering answer. And thank you so much for sharing your Digital Dojo to the world. So if you will make a fusion of brown stewed chicken, let's say Caribbean and Canadian fusion, what would it be?
Oh,
love it.
That's good. Do you have an answer?
I have too many.
My brain's going in so many directions.
You just described my life experience, Daniel.
Yes.
That's what my life. Growing up, I'm Canadian born, and I was born in this country. But every time I went out into the world, I felt like I was in Canada. But then when I stepped back into my house growing up, I felt like I was in the Caribbean. So that blending is a very natural dynamic for me.
That's true.
Certainly.
That's true.
But you were going to say, Paul.
Oh, I think it would have to be. Well, I can do the most obvious answer, which is swap out the brown sugar for brown maple syrup.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Fusion, indeed.
Oh my gosh.
You'd
For
have to like
sure.
mix it, but
Yes. For
and then
sure.
the other thing is the side. So oftentimes something like cuckoo, which you'd have to describe, or callaloo. Callaloo is the one that I really like with okra. Usually you're doing really traditional Caribbean foods like that, whereas you could definitely do a much more Canadian version of see, now I'm thinking maple syrup and like pine oil. You could do something with a beautiful pine needle salad.
Ooh,
Yes.
that sounds really good.
That will be delicious, Miss Colleen. Maple syrup, indeed. Truly, truly Canadian. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, my other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in 5th season. Abstract poetry in 2nd season, and my book 101 review in 5th season too. Comedy 101 in 2nd season, and my food 101 in 5th season as well. Geography 101 in 4th season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 101 Love Letters in 3rd season, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in 4th season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its 1st season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcasts. So, Miss Colleen, first about herbs, if you could only have 3 fresh herbs in your kitchen for the rest of your life, which 3 would you choose and why?
Oh, the suffering. It would have to be basil for one of them because it's so powerhouse.
I guess the other two.
I'm.
Go ahead, but no.
What would you guess for me?
No, you could go. I'll tell you after.
I'm gonna say fresh parsley because it is very underrated.
Yes.
And it does so many wonderful things for the body as well, and it just brightens anything up.
Nice one.
And oh gosh, I would say thyme because again, it's ubiquitous. It shows up in so many things.
That's what I got.
What was your third one for?
Rosemary.
Oh,
yes.
Can't go wrong with rosemary.
Definitely, me too. And Mr. Dana, beyond the incredible taste of that dish, what does this dish mean to you personally? Does it evoke specific memory or feeling of home?
Yes, both. It evokes very specific memories of being at and feeling at home. And whether we were having brown stew chicken in our house or at one of our relatives' homes or family friends, no matter where that dish was being cooked, it always evoked a real sense of community and I'm home. And
yes.
Because it was a dish I never ate anywhere else other than amongst my family and our friends and family from the Caribbean. It's a very, very staple dish. So every time I eat it, from the first time as far back as I can remember it as a kid, it made me feel very connected to the Caribbean and to the way of life there. And it was a big part of how much of a difference I felt growing up between being born in Canada, but having the Caribbean home in my heart.
Yes,
answer.
indeed.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Great answer, both of you. And thank you so much for being part on Food 101. And tell us, what are your vision and mission as a digital dojo?
Oh yeah, you want to answer that one?
I think, very simply put, I want to feed everybody that wants to reach for it some of the good old, for the soul, brown stew chicken of the digital dojo that we have to offer. I want them to come and be nourished and have a little or a lot, as much as they want, as little as they want, but know that warmth and invitation is always there, and that they can reach for that nourishment anytime they feel the need for it.
Yes,
Nice.
indeed. And people, let's support Miss Colleen and Mr. Dana for their digital dojo, because if you support them, for sure more and more empowering advocacy to come. So please do invite our listeners and viewers to support your
Absolutely.
digital dojo.
Yeah.
Yes, if you'd like to come and check us out, we're at thedigitaldojo.net, and we've got a YouTube channel and all sorts of things you can go to from there. But thedigitaldojo.net is the best place.
Yes, indeed. So, thank you so much for being part on Food 101.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you, Daniel. It's always
More to come,
so
people.
fun.
Yes, more to come, people. See you soon.